And that's the Temple U grad student strike. So here's an update. I caught an article. I've been trying to follow up and get some kind of update. What's happening with these kids? And they are kids to me.
What's happening?
What's happening? They're in their mid-20s, and I'm in my 40s. I'm Gen X to half a boomer, and certainly the way
No.
So I found this publication called BillyPenn, and last week we did a story about Temple U, and one of the grad students was nice enough to find it somehow in some kind of search that they had an alert that anybody who was doing anything, they found it and they popped in. And we were talking this week. I sent her this article, and she's like, "Yeah, actually, this is one of the best articles covering what happened." So I'm proud to showcase it. So Billy Penn is, William Penn, one of the founders of the country, but the magazine is called BillyPenn.org, I believe. Temple cancels free tuition and healthcare for striking grad students. These sons of bitches. So the TUGSA strike. All right. The university's response has garnered widespread condemnation, of course, as it should. So this is our Temple University thing. Man, this pisses me off. Temple University Grad Students Association said in an email Thursday that these were not just drastic and immoral actions by the administration, but also unnecessary and out of line with the response to previous grad student strikes across the country. Health insurance is provided to all Temple students, regardless of employment status, so the attempts to cut off members' coverage was confusing, cruel, and clearly misguided, the union said. This is really fucked up. As the strike and its response to bring national attention to Philadelphia labor issues, here's a look at how we got here and where this battle's headed. This does a really good job of kind of summarizing that a week after Temple grad students went on strike in search of better pay and improved working conditions, fight between the union and the administration turned ugly. On Wednesday, union members began receiving emails from the university alerting them that their tuition remission would be revoked for the spring semester, which would force students to pay thousands of dollars by March 9th if no agreement is reached. Some students have also reported having their health insurance taken away, leading elected officials and others to condemn the university's actions, which we said. So, tuition remission, which is where the school covers all or partial tuition for employees, is offered to Temple grad students if they work for the university as TAs or RAs. So if it's taken away, they need to pay that full semester's worth of tuition. And for a standard course load of 12 credit hours, that amount can be upwards of $20,000 for out-of-state students, depending on their field of study. Even in-state students, it's still, I believe, anywhere from 10 to 15. So there's a question: is it legal, even that they can that they can take healthcare away from striking students? And it's unclear, but union says it's going to file an unfair labor complaint with the Federal Labor Relations Authority, so we'll know more if a ruling's made. But generally, tuition remission for grad students performing TAs or RAs is not taxable income, so it may not count as compensation. But the administration says that it does not have the right to dock pay for striking workers. It not only does it have the right to dock pay, but it can also withhold benefits on top of that. So
great.
Yep. And we already heard last week that they were encouraging the teachers to continue teaching classes, and they were telling the students to still go to class. And I've got more on that this week too. So these guys from Temple spoke to Vice News. Said, those TUGSA members who've chosen not to work are on strike and no longer entitled to their compensation and work-related benefits, which include tuition remission. That's not true. Maintaining that the university has done nothing that violates Pennsylvania law. Yeah, but it violates the agreement that you've had with your students for how long? Yeah, taking away health care has been a commonly used strike-breaking tactic. Last year, Senator Bob Casey introduced federal legislation to make it illegal, but of course, Thank you, Democrats. That's another thing that they can't get done. The bill has not been passed. And of course, they never will because their bosses won't let them.
What?
So, yeah.
Huh?
So, when did this grad student union form? Right? And wait, what? Oh, Crab distracted me.
TUGSA?
You bastard. Yeah, TUGSA, which formed in 1997. I was actually still in college then. As the Graduate Association for Teaching and Research, rallying around concerns of grad students' working conditions and proposed cuts to teaching and research assistant. In 2000, the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Board declared that Temple's grad students were in fact employees who could unionize, and they did so the following year. Temple's union formed in the midst of a busy period for unionization in campuses across the country. First union of the kind formed in the 60s at Wisconsin-Madison, just happened to be where my father went to school in the early 60s.
Mm.
And after the wave that included TUGSA, nearly 40,000 students were part of unions. With dozens of unions, that number is now estimated to be twice as high. But locally, graduate students at Penn State voted against unionization in 2018 after 4 years of effort, just 2 months after UPenn grad students withdrew their petition to vote for a union. So it's a mixed bag a little bit. But wondering who are the members of TUGSA? You've got approximately 750 grad students in the union, which represents about 60% of the total graduate workers at the union, at that school. They teach core undergrad classes, and they work with faculty members on research. So in total, there are around 10,000 enrolled students across Temple's graduate programs. Okay, so I don't understand the number because somebody said something about 80%, and they had to get 80% of people. So they had to get an 80% vote, or at least a 50% vote of union members in order to be able to authorize the strike action, which they did. And what happened is this wonderful student that I was communicating with over the last week sent me that this is the email that they sent out right after about 12 students, including them, had finished putting a flyer in every single dorm room in the university. A lot of carefully worded manipulative language. And they also lied and said that they appreciate the more than 80% of TUGSA members who have remained on the job and continue to teach and conduct research. That's just not true. That number doesn't make sense, as a strike requires a majority vote from the union, which they got. They also wanted to mention that the undergrad student workers like tour guides and tutors at the library are sometimes paid as low as $7.50 per hour. And we talked last week about that they're paid an average of, I think, $19,000 per year, but that the cost of living and just renting a 2-bedroom apartment in Philly is $19.50, or a 1-bedroom apartment. It was more than that. It was like $23,000 a year. So what this letter says, and I'm not sure if it's blown up enough for everyone to read it, says, "Dear students, we know that your time as a student at Temple University is an educational opportunity related to the future of your career. We appreciate your continued focus on learning during this disruptive period. This week, we became aware of flyers posted around campus, emails, and social media messages that urge you not to attend classes or complete assignments and to participate in a walkout. Actions that could jeopardize your academic goals. Missing classes or assignments can impact your personal progress." That's not really threatening, but it's threatening. "We want you to know that striking TUGSA members have no authority to cancel classes or make any promises regarding your attendance, grades, or any other matter related to courses that they are no longer teaching." Doesn't say that they can't control the ones that they do. "We understand that some of these striking instructors are making this request while they continue attending classes." That's also a lie. "So as not to jeopardize their own academic process." They're not being hypocritical and going to their own classes while saying to everybody else, "Don't go to mine," or "Don't go to any." Typical union smear job from management. It's their goal to minimize interruptions. So fuck these guys. this is what the flyer looks like. And I wish I had Reefy's little zoomer thingy.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Tomorrow
could
morning
probably.
campus will get covered with these.
Yep. So it'll get covered with these, and then there's one up on the thing. Temple is scared, and it says we have a right as students after the ad drop to retain our original professors. That includes our TAs. This is a fully legal strike, which means the Temple can replace them temporarily, but they are still your real professor. They are still the ones who control your grades, not scabs. You are protected academically, even if you stand with TUGSA. Do not attend your scabbed classes. Join the picket line. Walk out on all classes on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, and attend the rally at 2 p.m. at Bell Tower. Their fight is our fight too. And there's another flyer that they're putting out, and it's freaking out administration and management apparently. So today, I got a further update, which was that the Temple student government stands in support with Temple's teaching and research assistants in their pursuit of a living wage, healthcare expansion, and expanded family and bereavement leave. Hard work and dedication from Temple's TAs and RAs deserve a sustainable wage. We call upon Temple University to reinstate tuition remission and the healthcare plans of the striking workers, and the Temple University reach an agreement without passing the costs on to students. Temple is tasked with supporting. I don't think that's too much to ask. Temple admin can absolutely suck it. So I kind of like this view.